seems like it all never happened, that terrible lockdown stuff. It's great, I love AstroFest, as you know. I've been to very many of them, and a lot of the time I was right here with Patrick, dear Sir Patrick, and I know some of you, a lot of you know Sir Patrick and remember what an amazing man he was, but I thought for those of you who weren't so familiar with him, perhaps the younger people here, I could give a little kind of thumbnail sketch of what this man actually was. First of all, can I just say, can we do a big thank you to Stephen Young, who's pulled this off once again. It's amazing. He's very modest, and he always says, well, I don't know if we can do it, and he always pulls it off brilliantly. And this was in the face of a lot of obstacles, so well done, Steve, amazing. I always feel a bit humble, actually, coming and speaking out. I feel a little nervous because so many of you know so much more than I do about astronomy, and this kind of imposter syndrome thing. Interestingly, I think Patrick had a similar kind of thing going on, because he was always saying, well, actually, I'm not a professional astronomer, I'm an amateur astronomer. And of course, he was the most famous amateur astronomer ever, and he's the only amateur astronomer ever to be honoured by being given an FRS, which is an amazing achievement. So he was a great populariser of astronomy, but also a very serious researcher. He spent thousands of hours just looking through his telescope, making notes, drawing pictures, and his very detailed map of the moon, before photography was really able to be used properly, was what was used by the first men to walk on the moon. So Patrick really has a place in history, in astronomical history. He was an extraordinary man, very, very unusual, incredibly generous. And I wrote to him as a kid. I used to beg to be allowed to stay up and watch The Sky at Night. The Sky at Night on TV was the longest running show ever in the history of mankind, with one presenter. He only missed one show because of a bad egg. Apart from that, he was there for every single show, and he was a legend. I think if you talk to any astronomer of our generation, and you ask them, why are you in astronomy? They'll say, because of Patrick Moore. Patrick Moore inspired us. He made us get excited about what was out there. He made us actually go out there and look at the night sky. And we were all clustered around our TV sets to be told what it all meant by Sir Patrick. He's the last of a breed. You're going to see in this film, you'll see him. I think it's fair to say that there will never be another Patrick Moore, because he knew astronomy like no one else does. He knew it in a personal way. So if you ask him, like, where's Aristarchus on the moon, he could describe how he walked to it from somewhere else. He kind of saw it all in his mind. He knew the planets like the back of his hand. These days you can't do that because the volume of astronomy knowledge is so vast. But Patrick was one of the last people who you could ask him any question, and he would give you the answer, not by going to a book, not by going to the internet, it didn't exist. It was all in his mind. He's an extraordinary man. And I just want to tell you, he was such a generous man as well. If you wrote to him, you would always get an answer. So any young kid aspiring astronomer would write to him and ask him about something in the program. He would always get a personal typewritten letter from Patrick, tapped out in his unique way with all the mistakes on his lovely old non-electric typewriter. And I was one of those people. I wrote to him as a kid and asked him what the introductory music to The Sky at Night was. And he wrote back personally and said, it's at the Castle from Pelléas and Elisande by Sibelius. And I rushed out and bought the music. And I think that was one of the first times that I linked astronomy and music, because it gave me such a feeling. It gave me that feeling that I could see into the cosmos because of the music and because of Patrick. So what is the film? Well, we were lucky. A few of us here were lucky enough to be friends with Patrick, and he became a kind of beneficent uncle to us, I think, or a leader. I think we were all kind of disciples, and we would go down to his house in Chelsea for various events, like a meteor shower, or because we were writing a book or something. Those of us lucky enough to work with him. And this particular event that you're going to see now was a transit of Venus. Now, Transit of Venus is not something spectacular, it's not something glorious that you can take wonderful photos of, like a trip to the sun or a fiver or whatever, you know. It's a little black dot going across the sun, as you know. But previous to this event, which is 2004, the previous one, I'll put it here, it was 1890. It was more than 100, wait a minute, it says here, 1882 was the previous transit of Venus. It's a rare event. So no one in the world actually had actually seen a transit of Venus. So it was quite a nice thing to gather together and experience, even though we knew it wasn't going to be spectacular. So we're all gathered around in his garden with our various telescopes, not looking through them, of course, because as Patrick was always the first to say, never look through a telescope at the sun or any kind of optical device. So we were projecting. I had a very Heath Robinson thing with a telescope that I made with my dad and a wire coat hanger holding up a piece of paper, as you'll see. And we're all thinking, who's going to see this this venture of a black dot onto the sun first? It's quite an exciting moment. You'll see what happened on that afternoon, and I think you get an extraordinary glimpse in this little clip of what it was actually like to be around Patrick and how we all benefited, and how the world benefited from his unique approach to bringing science to ordinary people and making it understandable. The rest of it's in the film. I don't think there's anything else to say except enjoy it. It's not a finished film, it's a rough cut, and it's not actually ready, but we hope one day it will go into the cinemas and the whole world will see what Patrick Moore was really like. But this is a sneak preview. You guys are seeing this before anybody else has seen this footage. So I'm going to say, Lucy, it's playing. Enjoy it, folks. Thanks for having us.